Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Mindful Marathon Conversations. I'm your host, Dr. Michelle Quirk. I'm a pediatrician and a run coach and the founder of Mindful Marathon, where I help make running easy and fun for busy professionals. And today I'm really excited to be joined by my guest, Danny Burke. He is the Director of Development for Students Run Philly Style, where he works to connect businesses, brands, and individual donors with the organization's mission to transform lives through running and mentorship. So Danny, welcome, and thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Michelle. I'm super happy to be here, and I've loved working with you so far. I'm looking forward to the conversation and how we can connect your participants and tell them more about youth running in Philly.
Yeah. Well, maybe start out telling us a little bit about the Students Run and how you got involved with them.
Sure, absolutely. So Students Run Philly Style is a youth mentorship organization. This is, I believe, our 18th year in existence. We started in 2004, actually the same year that Philadelphia Runner opened their Center City store. So we're kind of tied to them in our trajectory, and Ross, the owner of Philadelphia Runner, is on our board, and we're great friends. Anyways, that's just a cool, fun little fact and aside that Students Run and Philly Runner share. Kind of born in the same week. And so we started off with a group of just about 50 student runners, and back in the early 2000s, the main mission of Students Run was kind of just to get youth moving and running, and it was purely health focused and the benefits of moving your body and running and those health benefits that you see because of that. As the program has grown, we now have about 1,500 runners in every zip code of Philadelphia.
Wow.
And so now the focus is a lot more, we obviously see those health benefits of running, but it's a lot more focused on youth mentorship and spending times with adults outside of the classroom. Our running leaders, our volunteers, and the kind of benefits of that mentorship that students see in terms of goal setting behavior and, just having a goal and setting it and achieving it and what that does kind of for the self and self-care. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Amazing. I love what you guys do. And my first experience with the Students Run actually was in my first Broad Street run. I think that was maybe like 2015. But I got passed by a lot of students, and I was like, "Who are these Students Run Philly?" And so that was my first experience. But a lot of my many of my patients are part of the program. So is the program, tell us a little bit about it. How
Yep.
often do they have to sign up for a race? How often are they meeting with their mentors and things like that?
Yeah, definitely. So first off, I want to say you're not the first Philly runner to be passed by one of our students. We hear that a lot. Our kind of blue shirts are very iconic at all the races. We're often the largest group at the big races like Broad Street and the Philadelphia Marathon, where we'll have over 1,000 runners. So you shouldn't take that too hard, for sure. But in terms of how our program operates, so our students are paired with adult mentors. We also call them running leaders, or the students call them running leaders. And so most of our teams are school-based in Philadelphia, every zip code. And so how it works is they'll run 10 hours a week with their mentor. And so some teams are larger, they could have 50 students, some teams could only have 5 students. And so it's not necessarily a one-to-one student to mentor ratio, but every team has its size, and we make sure that they have enough mentors there. And so depending on which season they sign up for, they train for what we call a milestone race. And so that milestone race in the spring is Broad Street. And then in the fall, it's the Philadelphia half or full marathon. And so leading up to that, like I said, our mentors and students are spending 10 hours a week together. Not all of that is running, but a lot of it could be stretching. It could be extracurricular activity, like in January when it might be a little too cold to run. We do nutrition workshops and things like that. And then along the way, we participate in races to train for those milestone races. So we own our own race, the Philadelphia Distance Run, which is in September. The Philly 10K is a race we participate in. So there's various other public races throughout to kind of build them to Broad Street or train them for the Philadelphia Marathon that they would participate in.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, that's a hefty training load and training cycle. I don't think I appreciated how much time they spend with the mentors. That's great.
Yeah, certainly. And the mentors really are like the lifeblood of our program. It's completely volunteer, and we have about 300 to 400 mentors a year, a majority of whom are actually Philadelphia Public School District teachers.
Mhm.
And so they're spending time with their students outside of the classroom. And again, that's where you see that like really change in mentorship and the impact of mentorship when you're spending time as a teacher with a student outside of the classroom and kind of the relationship you can build there.
Yeah.
And so it's a huge commitment, and we definitely couldn't do it without our volunteer mentors, and they're just kind of leaders in the community and kind of push our students to be their best version of themselves and to set goals and reach those goals.
Yeah, yeah. Could you share maybe just some feedback from the students? Maybe not in the moment, but later on when they look back at their time that they spent with Students Run and what they say about the program.
Yeah, I think it's the easiest way to describe it as a journey, and I think every runner would know and understand what their journey has been. And some, you don't necessarily come out of the womb as a runner, most of us at least. You have to train and work to get those miles and to get whether your goal is just to cross the finish line and you don't care about the time, or if you have a specific time in mind, like it's all a journey, right? And so I think talking with our most of the students who join Students Run don't have aspirations to be a track or cross country star in college. That's not what our program is built around. It's really built around inclusivity and building community through running. And so
Mhm.
many students who join are not what the world would call athletes, right? Or runners, and they don't view themselves as runners when they start. So lots of times you talk to a student, they ask them about their experience. Like when I started, I would have to like set goals. Like I'm going to run to that stoplight. I'm going to
Mhm.
run to 2 blocks. And then all of a sudden I ran my first mile. And then 5 months later, I'm crossing the finish line at Broad Street. Right. And so you hear so many of those stories in terms of how that, journey and just setting small goals leads to a bigger goal. And I think if students understand that they can do that and realize that they have that power within them to run 10 miles down Broad Street on Philadelphia, then when they get to college or high school or job interview or trade school or whatever route they decide to go, they know that they can accomplish that. And that's much harder than sitting in a seat for a job interview or something like that. So I think
Yeah.
those are the type of stories that we constantly hear with our model and the relationships that they form both with staff and the mentors they're running with.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, how amazing to kind of set those habits young, and
Yeah.
have that program at such a pivotal time, I think, and taking that into the future in whatever situation it doesn't. Running translates into all other aspects of life, I think. So I like to say, like, how you do one thing is how you do everything. So
Yep.
you guys are definitely setting everyone up for success that way.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. And like habit forming, as you kind of alluded to, is a huge piece of long distance running, which is, I think, what is different than just even like running track or a 50-yard dash. Not that you don't need habits for that, but to be able to run 10 miles, you really have to put the work in. You can't really hide from those 10 miles once you're out there. And I think our students learn that and realize it and embrace it. And so, like I said, it's not a time-based thing. It's like if you show up at the finish line or at the start line and you finish, like good for you. We're not timing you. And it's about the journey and about getting across the finish line and how you take that after you cross the finish line to other
yeah.
aspects of your life.
Yeah, yeah, it's awesome. So I brought one of the reasons I brought Danny on today is because the Students Run, part of our proceeds from our virtual 5Ks is going to go to the Students Run, and we had our first. I became a race director in the fall. And we had our first virtual 5K, and it was a success, and we sold it out, which was a huge surprise for me. And so people asked, like, are you going to do this again? And so this year we're having two. We're going to do one in the spring and one in the fall. And part of the proceeds will go to the Students Run. So tell us what you guys use the donations for. I know on the website it says $25 will help to get a pair of sneakers, which every runner can relate to.
Yeah, absolutely. And so there's so many things. The big thing about us we want any student to be able to join. So it's a free barrier and for entry. So our program is completely free. So in order to make it free, we have to fundraise in order to pay for all the costs that go along with running. The great thing about the sport of running, as you know, is generally it has a lower barrier to entry than other sports, than say hockey or basketball, where you need to pay for court time and things like that. But we're hugely, every student sets a goal and they kind of earn their first pair of sneakers after they run a certain number of miles. And so we're thankful to have a really great shoe sponsor, Diadora, that works with us to get super low cost sneakers. And so those $25 goes to purchase a pair of student sneakers for a student at the beginning of their season. So they're equipped with that. They also get a technical running shirt, free race entries to Broad Street. We provide buses for the teams to be able to get to the start line of every race. And so we really want to make sure that if anyone wants to run and sign up with us, that they have both the apparel, the cost for entry fees for races, snacks, water, all the stuff that goes into training for a marathon and a race, we provide for them. So the money that you all fundraise through your virtual races goes directly to supporting those students be able to complete their own running journey. So that's what's kind of so cool about it.
Yeah. And for this year, Danny and the Students Run have given us a lot of Students Run swag that you'll find in the swag bag also. So thank you for that.
Yeah, happy to do it and just get our name out there as much as we can. And I know our students love seeing when other runners are wearing the same gear they're wearing. It gives them a lot of encouragement and support, and they recognize and see that they have a lot of supporters out there in the city. So please wear those things proudly, and know that you could make a student's day if you see them running and they might be having a bad day.
Yeah. And I always see the students on my trail as well. So I think especially in the late summer and fall when they're training for the marathon, I think that the running route takes them up our way a little bit. So
yeah, and
it's always great to see them.
Yeah, and that's the awesome thing about Students Run that I love about it is we don't serve just one specific zip code or one specific geographic area of Philadelphia. We're in every zip code, in Philadelphia. And so you'll see them no matter where you are, those blue shirts, I promise you. And so it's kind of cool for them to kind of come together and meet students from West Philly if you live in South Philly, and North Philly, and vice versa, and stuff like that. So you'll see them out there, and we encourage you to give them a cheer for sure.
Yes, we do. My husband and I definitely do. We give high fives too.
Yeah, there you go.
We'll tell everyone, if they want to learn more, where can they find you guys? I know you have an active Instagram page.
Yes, Instagram is probably definitely the best way to keep up with us and our students. We're active, we're moving around everywhere. So it's at Students Run PHL on Instagram is the best way to find us. We're also on Twitter and Facebook. And then if you go to our website, studentsrunphilly.org, you can find all other information about our different programs in addition to our core mentorship program, and more information about the Philadelphia Distance Run. We do cool sneaker collaborations with Diadora and release like limited edition apparel where 100% of the proceeds support our students as well. So a whole bunch of stuff we do. And if you follow those, Instagram and our website, you'll know about all of those.
And I'll put the links here below in the comments too, so everybody can find you.
Cool.
And yeah, if you're interested in running the race, head over to my website. It's mindful-marathon.com and just click the big purple button. So at the time of this recording, registration is open. It will be open until the end of April or until we sell out. So head over there. And Danny, thank you so much for joining me and for sharing the mission of the Students Run with all of us.
Yeah, and thank you for all your support at Mindful Marathon of Students Run. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. I love what you guys do. And I'm hoping maybe at some point I can be a mentor.
Yep, definitely.
All right, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us, and we will talk to you soon. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode. If you liked it, please subscribe and share it with a friend. And if you are a newer runner or a runner who hasn't run in a while and you're looking to get back into the sport, you can find out how to work with me over on my website, which is mindful-marathon.com. See you on the next episode.